everybody, welcome to Polymer Clay TV. I'm Elisa, and today I have a fun project for you. The holiday Easter is coming up, and you know it's fun to have some little things to bring with you when you go to someone's house or a family member. And I thought this would be a cool project. It's not really Eastery, it's more springish, but there are variations you can do to make it more of like an Easter kind of thing. And one of them is by using a cutter that's shaped like an Easter egg. So I'm not going to do that today, but I just wanted to tell you there's a variation. As we go, I'll tell you where you could kind of think about changing things up to make it, if you want it more Easter-like, or if you just want to leave it how I do it, which is going to be more spring-like. So we're going to be using one of our silk screens, and this is the 3-inch mandalas #1. And the way our silk screens work, the orange side goes down on the clay, so it's very, very easy to know which side to use. Orange always face down on the clay. There's a lot of other, well, maybe not a lot, but there's some other silk screens on the market, and they're usually blue or pink. And you know, as they start to get washed over and over, it's hard to distinguish which is the shiny side, because usually it's the shiny side that goes face down on the clay. With ours, all you have to remember is the orange side face down on the clay, and they come with instructions, so no problem. So we're going to be using that today, and we're going to use this particular design here. And we are going to be using one of these wooden laser cut pieces, and this is the one. I've already pre-painted it, and I use this Waverly chalk paint, which I really, really love. It has a matte finish, and I use it a lot for silk screening, and I'm going to use this again for silk screening, which we'll do in a minute. But I chose one that kind of had a flowery border because I thought it would be really fun, spring-like. But as you can see, there's a lot of them on the market. This is just a small little sampling. But I picked these up at Michael's craft store. I've seen them at Joann's. You can probably get them online if you're not in the United States, because I remember using these on another show and people from other countries saying that they didn't have them available there, but I'm sure you could find them online. And I want to say these were under $1 a piece. They're made out of wood, and they're pretty sturdy. So you're going to need one of those, or if you don't have one or you want to try something different, you can always make something out of clay. That's an option as well. So I've got a set of brushes, and there's 6 in this set. These are purple. And what I like about these is you can get in different angles with each of the brushes, and also there's one that's like a foam applicator. And I'm going to use this one for what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be painting inside of these little flowers, which you'll see in a few minutes. And you know, you can use whatever you want, whatever works in the area you want, or if you have your own brushes. But I really like these. These are new, and we're really enjoying these, and people have been saying they've been enjoying them. So that's something to think about. But I have the mini cutters, and these are the circle ones, and I think they come in a set of 4, and they plunge so that they can push out your clay, and they don't leave any marks in the middle or anything. The Kemper cutters, the ones that are made out of metal, they leave marks. So I really like the plastic ones because they don't do that, and they're easy to clean. You can pop them apart and wash them. So I've got the ovals, and then I have the rounds, and then I have one oval because I want to show you the variation to make like an egg. Okay, and so then I have copper clay, and this is the Primo Sculpey Accents, and actually, I don't know if this is called copper. Let me see what color this is. Bronze, excuse me. It's called bronze. So we're going to be using that today. We have one of our metal stamps, and they come in a set of 20 of all different tips. Let me show you. And they come in a bag. This is not the exact bag. I kind of decorated it. But they have 20 different tips, as you can see here. So your choice is a lot, you know, because you can mix and match and do all kinds of things. But for this particular project, I'm just going to use this particular flower. But of course, as always, you can use anything you want. I'm going to be using Weld Bond, and that's a glue that's really good for polymer clay. You can bake with it. I'm not going to bake with it today. I'm going to glue it on after my pieces are baked. So you really can use any glue that'll stick polymer clay to wood. That's, you know, up to you. And I have this cutter here, which is out of our graduated cutter set, and this was the perfect size for the middle of my piece. So that's how I determined what size I was gonna use. So it just depends on whatever you do. Like this one's got a bigger, it might have a bigger middle. You you can, you know, just choose a cookie cutter. They're graduated, they go up to about this big, and so, you know, you can just pick and choose what size you need. Also, I have my squeegee, but you can certainly use an old credit card or gift card, and this is to silk screen on the clay. I have some gilding polish, and this is ocean teal color, which we're going to use. And then I have my basic supplies, of course, my cutter, my poker, and my roller. So let me clear all this out, and we'll do the silk screen and get started. So I've rolled the bronze clay out to the third thickest setting of my pasta machine, but this really depends on your own taste. So whatever thickness you want, roll your clay out, condition it first and roll it out, and then we're going to go orange side down on the clay. And we're just going to give it a little press, and I like to run my squeegee over it, but you can run your card or whatever you're using over it, so that when I'm doing this, I'm making sure there's no air pockets in between. And so you want to shake up your paint, get that ready to go, and you can use any acrylic paint you want. It's really a matter of preference. I like a paint that has some body to it, that's not all runny. It just works better for silk screening. And so I just pour a little out on my squeegee, kind of like that, thinking of how much I'm going to need. If I need a little more, I can take more. You're not, you know, stuck with what you have on your squeegee. So we're just going to run this across. It's just simple like this until you have a coverage. And I have some left, and I like to usually just kind of squeegee that off back into the jar, and that saves paint for me. This jar has gone a long way. I've done a lot with it. So anyways, you just slowly peel back and reveal your design. And there you have it, as simple as that. It took me 3 seconds to make such a gorgeous design. So I'm going to go wash this off. You want to wash your card or whatever you're using, and you want to wash your silk screen really well as well. You know, don't worry too much about staining. As you can see, or maybe you can see, there's some staining on this. That will in no way hurt my silk screen. You just want to make sure that the clay is not stuck in between the little holes of the design, and you know, it'll come off right when you wash it under a faucet. So go ahead and wash this, and we'll be right back. So I pulled these out of the oven. These are already done, because I don't want to take too much time making all of these, but I'm going to show you how to make the components right now. And I start off, and I do this before I bake, obviously, and I look for the center mark on this, and it's a little hard from where I'm sitting, but you would just center it, and then you would cut it out. I'm not going to cut it out right now because I can't really see from where I am, but we'll go ahead and just use this one and say we just cut it out. You do it very simple, just go ahead and cut out the circle. So now we have this, and we want to bring back in this piece that we've already painted whatever way you want. And we're going to start building our piece. And what I do is I put the middle, this section right in the middle, and I'm going to use a little of this Weld Bond glue because this has already been baked. So I could have put it on before, but I didn't want to have any problem with any kind of distortion with the wood or anything like that. So I decided I'm going to just glue these on after I bake. That was the reasoning behind it. Like I said, you can glue it. You can put it on before you bake if you want, but I chose not to. I prefer it this way, especially for something like wood. And all you do is just give it a glue, and that's really all you got to do there. Simple as can be. So let's move on to let this dry, and we'll move on to making these little pieces. So these are just pieces that I cut out of some extra bronze clay I had. Now this is the same thickness as the middle part is, and we're just going to use this larger plunger cutter circle and make our circles that way. So it makes this a really fast project, or faster project I should say, when you have little tools that can help you along the way. As you can see, it's very easy to cut out what I need and, you know, the size I need. So I'm just going to cut a few because I just want to show you how I did this. So what you're going to do is use your flower stamper, metal stamper, And all I do is find the center and give it a little push. I'm not cramming it into the clay because I'm not trying to smush it. And sometimes if it's warm, you're going to need to use a little bit of a release. It's going to be 89 degrees here, so I probably should have used a little bit of release, but you get the gist. If I wanted to use a little bit of release, I can take my water bottle really and use water. And let's do that on the next one just so you can see how much easier. You don't need all that water, you just need a little tiny bit. Let me knock some of that off. Just a little bit so it doesn't stick. It helps it to not stick so much. See, perfect like that. And of course, if you're doing it with a metal tool, make sure to dry it all off because you don't want them to rust on you. Now, I worked on my ceramic tile because it was a great way for me to keep them all together and not moving around, and you know, so they wouldn't distort and things like that. So if you have a little tile, it's a good way to go. So then I came in with my gilding polish, and I like to use my lid as my palette. That's what I choose to do. There's a sponge applicator in here, which is good for when you're doing things like stenciling and stuff. But for this application, I would not use it. I would use a brush, and I like this brush here because it's small enough. It's actually the perfect size for me to get in here and paint all these little petals. And I like the tile because you can move it around too. So if you want to make it easier on yourself, get yourself a little tile. They're about $1, I think. They're very reasonable, and you can get them at, you know, Home Depot, Lowe's. I think even Michael's carries it. And if you get anywhere you don't want to, you can use a baby wipe to wipe it off. And that's all there is to it. It's so simple. But make sure to wash your brushes and keep them clean. That'll help them last a lot longer. So you would go ahead and make all your pieces that you need, and I found that I needed 15 pieces for my particular piece. And what I did was I came back and I went in between these two flowers all the way around. And so let's work on the baked ones here, not the one I just made. And with glue, sometimes it's easy to take a piece of deli sheet and just put a little on there. And instead of having to work with this big old, you know, container of it, put a little glue on. You can even put it in a palette or something just to make your life easier. I'm all about making my life easier. And so I would then just start applying these, and you can use a brush if you want. Actually, I have this junky brush. Let's use that. And just kind of apply a little on the back. And I like to wipe a little extra, you know, kind of give it a little dab because I don't want it squirting out the sides and getting everywhere. And then I just start to build my piece, and I'm going right in between, as you can see, those two flowers. And I'm going to do that all the way around. So put a little glue, use my finger to kind of bring it out to the outside, and then again apply. And you can try to get your flowers to go the same direction, or you can turn them around. Whatever you want to do, that's completely up to you. And so we would just continue gluing them all around. I know you guys don't want to sit here and watch me glue every single one of them, but let me see if I can do it fast for you, or at least so you can just see the... Oh, did I just glue the... No, that one's baked. I thought I grabbed one that wasn't baked. But it does come together pretty fast, so if you need to make a lot of gifts, you know, if you're going, you know, to an Easter party, or even, you know, this would be a nice gift for Mother's Day too. I was thinking about it because it's such a pretty floral thing, and it's handmade, but yet it doesn't take, you know, forever to do, so you can make multiples if you needed to, you know, for your aunt, your grandma, your mom, your friend's mom, you know, whatever you want, you know, because it, like I said, it's not too time consuming, and it's easy and fun. Fun is the most part. Oops, and see, this one I didn't wipe off the end, and I got a little extra than I wanted, you know, so that's why got to remember to kind of wipe off excess. When the glue dries, it dries clear, so it's not a tragedy, but whenever you can avoid getting the extra on there, you know, it's better. And you want to kind of see that they line up as they go around. You don't want them nilly-willy, and if you have to adjust them, do it now before they dry, obviously. And you can see where I'm going with this. It's just going to be, it's like a mandala, and then we can add a string on it, or some wire, or you can do some beadwork to do it, to make it even more of your own. You can, you know, bead up a string and have it hang from that. I think I'm actually going to put this in my kitchen. I really, really like the way this looks. And I don't normally keep a lot of pieces for myself, but I don't know, this is just, it just struck me. It's such a pretty design, and really, as you can see, it's not a lot of effort. So let me tell you about a few things while I'm gluing this so you're not bored. We have some things going on. If you get our free app, which is the Create Along at Polymer Clay TV app, and you can get it on the iTunes store, and you can get it for Android in Google Play. So if you get our app and you download it, there's a button in there that says Clay Fee. And if you send us a picture of your work, you have a chance to be featured on our digital magazine that we started this past month in Polymer Clay Universe. And Polymer Clay Universe is this awesome new project and thing we're having, where we have 4 different artists right at their moment that are writing columns and doing videos and articles and different things for us. And every month it'll be updated. But then it's also a resource. So there's, if you say you want to know, you know, about a particular technique or whatever, you can go look that up and read about it right in there as well, because it's full of resources. And there's full pages on guilds and where you can buy supplies, no matter what country. You know, it's not just the United States, there's all over the world. We've got suppliers and stuff listed in there. So it's a big resource for Polymer Clay, hence the name Polymer Clay Universe. And so definitely check that out, because you can, if you send in a clay fee, you will be entered to possibly get on the cover, which is a lot of recognition, and of course we share that everywhere, and you know, it'll be a lot of fun and to see your work featured on the cover of the magazine. It's a digital magazine. So there you have that, and I made one extra because I wanted it to go in the middle. And so we'll do that. Let me just put a little glue on that. Wipe off or spread around any extra. And this is going to go straight in the middle. Give it a little more dimension. And there you have it. So simple, beautiful, beautiful piece that you can change up any way you like. And I talked about how you could do kind of make it like an egg theme. If you get yourself some of these oval cutters, and they come in a set of 3 or 4, I believe, and you would just take your oval cutters and do the same kind of thing. My hands are full of glue. And create like an Easter egg shape. And so you can put those all the way around. You can put them in here. You can, you know, do whatever you want. That's the beauty of this. Once you have, you know, the idea and the technique, you can go to town and do anything you want. And I'm probably just going to hang this with a little bit of ribbon or maybe some wire, probably, because I think I want to hang it at one of these top holes. And so wire would probably be something that would fit in there. I'll see. I'll put a picture on our blog at polymerclaytv.com so you can check it out. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Not much to it. I mean, you just need a few tools, but you can certainly change them up to anything you like. So if you head on over to polymerclaytribe.com, that's our Facebook group, and it's free to join. You can upload photos of the things you've made, and so we can see those as well. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Very simple, very fun, and yet really, really pretty. So thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next time.